You can do anything if you set your goal, acquire the knowledge to achieve it, and without fail, do the work day in, day out. My friends, 10 to 15 minutes, that is all we ask here. What is your goal? Learning how to chart these markets, how to accurately follow price movement. Once you achieve that goal, don't worry about how long it takes. You will more than make up for the time that you spent. You have to spend the time though. If you don't do this, if you don't practice trade to begin with, then fractionally trade a small amount of money, $100. My amount is $1,000 when I'm working on some new technique or getting into some new type of stock or ETF, commodity, cryptocurrency, whatever it might be. And I'm willing to lose $20, $200, something like that. And again, what it will teach you after you've practiced traded and you're not just going out there like a fool, is it will teach you more than anything else the critical nature of limiting your losses. If you will limit your losses when the trade does not work and let it run when the trade does work, if you can figure that out, you even up the score. You wait for those exogenous events where the market just takes off. And again, if you're there, if you're practice trading, if you're learning, you will see it. If you're out there gambling with real money, you're going to lose it and you're going to get hammered. I cut my losses as soon as absolutely possible. And if ever I get tied up with something else and I'm paying attention to real money trades and not some practice trades I have moving and don't pay attention to those, I'll learn that over and over and over in those experiments. I'm like, learned it again, learned it yet again. Limit losses. That is the key to winning. Remember, it's pretty much if you did nothing but throw a dart at a board, okay, of stock listings, and you could limit your losses and let the winners run. Again, you don't even have to have a 50% win. If you run out the winners and cut the losses, again, you just need to practice. That's all. Now let's jump into these charts. By the way, Patreon members, I think you'll find the Charting Crypto you have in your email today. You'll also find it at the Patreon site. I think you'll find this week's Charting Crypto quite insightful with the shaft trend. I think you'll love that. So anyway, let's jump into these charts. Stocks are mixed. Bonds and gold up, Bitcoin down. Now, let's see where we are as we move through this week. We look at the weekly chart, and of course, it is down. Price percent oscillator heading down, derivative oscillator negative, losing a little downward momentum. Red down candle, but not moving anywhere near the low it hit back at the end of January. It had 2 weeks of sideways slide, and then it looks like that downward movement may be beginning again. What about the intermediate chart? Again, we can see where there's sort of a sideways slide in here, but again, moving down quite strongly on that Friday-Monday candle. This Tuesday-Wednesday candle's a slowdown in the down movement. Price percent oscillator consequently is heading up, yet still negative. Derivative oscillator gaining some upward momentum and is positive. Half-day chart hasn't crossed over going up yet. It too is still negative. Derivative oscillator negative, price percent oscillator negative. Both are losing downward momentum. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things, see where it leads us. Price is still below the weekly and the 2-day trend lines. On the 2-day, below the weekly. Well, we need to redraw our weekly, but we can't redraw it yet on the weekly chart. Why is that? Well, that is because we haven't finished with the candle and we need to update that. So we'll do that as we move along at the end of the week. But again, nice to see the S&P trying to slip a little sideways, but still that downward momentum's pushing it up for the a little bit, 0.11. The NASDAQ 100 down just a little bit, 0.03. And again, we can see as the NASDAQ continues to move down, price percent oscillator heading down, derivative oscillator losing a little bit of downward momentum. Another red down candle forming, not as low as, again, that end of January week where things really bottomed. We'll see if they will be surpassing that. Two-day chart, as far as the price percent oscillator and derivative oscillator go, look very similar to the S&P. Green candle forming. We saw, again, the latest strong down move was in that Friday-Monday candle. This not as much. And we see on the half day getting closer to crossing over, going up. Has not quite done that. And we will continue to watch on this half-day chart. Derivative oscillator still a little bit negative. So we'll see where stocks end up going. Of course, we had that weekly vertical crossover going down all the way back on the NASDAQ in early December. Early December. Moved through. We saw things bump up there at the end of December, and then that hard rollover swinging down. Okay, let's go on to 20-year bonds. Where are they? Up a little bit for the day, 0.59%, but a big red down candle. Lots of downward momentum, derivative oscillator, price percent oscillator pushing down. Big red down candle on the weekly. Look at that 2-day. Is that just not a beautiful, just stair steps all the way down? Nice trend line, beautiful price percent oscillator, derivative oscillator heading down. Half day, we can see where things not so much down in the morning, and that really led to sort of a little bit of a recovery at the end of the day, 0.59%. Derivative oscillator gaining a little momentum, price percent oscillator negative, heading up. And again, lots of downward pressure on bonds. So everything down on them like we saw on the S&P. What about gold? Gold up for the day nicely, 1.03%. Nice green up candle heading up. Derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. And I do believe our 2-day, let's see where our 2-day is. Yeah, it's in the right spot. Remember, we had that 2-day recross going up back on Monday, and it has served you well so far. Nice green up candle for the Tuesday, Wednesday. Price percent oscillator heading up, derivative oscillator heading up. Glad to see gold moving on up. I hope it goes to the sky. Gold has been good to me. And what do we see on the half-day chart? We see where things had popped up on gold up through the 14th of February and then sort of rolled down and over on us and is now proceeding back up again on this half-day chart. Popped up in the afternoon on Monday, then down Tuesday morning, and then sort of started the recovery process Tuesday afternoon and then Wednesday morning and afternoon. Derivative oscillator still losing some momentum. That is where it just killed that upward surge, and that oscillator is still oscillating down. Maybe that's slowing now with the up move on Wednesday. But as we look at gold, it's nice to see that the 2-day and the weekly are a booming up. Now, we'll leave our 4 big ones and go to the crypto market. Check out Bitcoin. Again, we have a nice green week forming. The high so far this week, 44,260. The high last week, 45,338. So we're not hitting the high of last week yet. The price percent oscillator is a little more than flat, but still negative. Derivative oscillator negative, losing downward momentum. We look at the 2-day chart, and that's where we can see things just sort of losing some of that steam. That price percent oscillator still going up, though. Derivative oscillator going up. We can see that loss of energy in these 2 latest candles, representing 4 days of slowing down and almost stopping movement. And what do we see on the half day? It's where you can see we had a day and a half of down movement, popped up on Tuesday, and then sort of losing some of that energy again. Price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line, negative, and the derivative oscillator is about negative and about flat. So continue to keep our eye on Bitcoin. Hopefully we will see Bitcoin, continuing to try to struggle and move up in the near future. Hopefully we'll have a weekly vertical crossover. We are waiting for it, friends. God bless, my friends. All the best. Thank you so much for being with us. So much to share with you, more coming. Patreon members, don't forget tomorrow we will be publishing the 20 weekly vertical crossovers on the S&P 500 to give you something to trade on Friday. Again, always an opportunity each and every week for your practice trades. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.